Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin, and today we are going to do a review on this yarn, which is the new Caron Cinnamon Swirl Cakes, which has the fun, I think this side is better, there we go, has the fun kind of washed out sections added to it. These are new colorways that Michaels is starting to carry. This particular one is called Snow Cone. So we are going to talk about how this looks and how this works and everything. This one, the dress is very, very loose on it. Oh, there is a pattern on the inside. Oh, for that there shawl. What? It says it takes 3 cakes. And let's talk about the specifics of this yarn. It is, as I said, Caron Cinnamon Swirl Cakes. It is wool free, so there's no wool in this. It is made in Turkey. It's a medium 4, they say. I have not worked with it yet, so I cannot confirm, but it looks visually like a standard 4. They want you to use a 5mm knitting needle and a 5mm crochet hook. Machine washable and dryable. Do not bleach, do not iron, do not dry clean. It is 100% acrylic. It is 8 ounces, 227 grams, 407 yards, which is 372 meters in this cake. Okay, so I am going to go work with this a bit, and I will be back to talk about what I think of it. Okie dokie. See you soon. Bye. Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin, and we are here today to talk about the new Caron Cinnamon Swirl Cakes. Here is the cake. It's a little beat up because I've been using it to make things. Oh, as you can see, that's all in frame. Oops. Okay, so what we've got here is the new Caron Cinnamon Swirl Cakes. This is the new colorways with the kind of distressed section added, which is a pretty cool addition, I think, in my mind. Just to review, this yarn is a medium 4. They request a 5mm knitting needle and a 5mm crochet hook. It is machine washable and dryable. Do not bleach, no triangles. Do not iron, do not dry clean. It is 100% acrylic. It has a net weight of 8 ounces, 227 grams, 407 yards, or 372 meters. This yarn is made in Turkey. Made in Turkey. This colorway I have here is called Snow Cone. It's shades of blue with a white in it. It's very pretty. Oh, that's that label. What are you seeing in the corner? So let's dive in here. What do I think of this yarn? It is very, very soft. It's very plush. I really love the feel of the yarn. I think it is beautiful. I think it worked up very, very nicely. The price of this yarn, these are $12.99 US per cake. These are sold at Michaels, which of course we know you can always get some sort of discount on. So I would say just pick your deal that you're looking for. Generally, you can usually get at least 20% off. Of course, reward certificates are always helpful. It is very, very soft. So it says it's just normal acrylic. It feels, it's definitely softer than a Super Saver, but doesn't quite have the anti-pilling acrylic feel. But it doesn't claim to be anti-pilling acrylic, so that doesn't really matter. So first let's talk about how it worked up on the Addy. I threw this up on my Addy and made a scarf with it. So one thing I noticed here, you're going to see like this hole. It's not really a hole, it's a double stitch. It worked up very irregular for me on the Addy, and I don't quite know why. And the sections that seemed to work up the weirdest were the kind of distressed sections. It could be a tension issue. I am still learning on the Addy, but what I did see was a number of times, so you can see it's kind of changing in width here, which is a little strange. There, see, that section looks really, really nice. So it could be user error. This one, I tried to do the Kitchener stitch on the end instead of cinching. One end worked much better than the other end. This end looks beautiful. This was the end that was on the machine. This was the cast on end. I think I've learned my mistake. I think in order to do this, you need to use waste yarn. Just a tip. I did not use waste yarn. What was I talking about? Okay, I'm talking about this yarn on the Addy. It liked to like split the yarn on the needle as it was coming, as the pin was coming down, if that makes any sense. So as you crank the Addy, you have the pins and they come up and it pushes a stitch back, and then it catches the next yarn to pull it into the machine, and then it pushes another stitch down onto the pins. What was happening was it was catching the yarn for the next stitch to pull into the machine, but as it came down, the yarn that was on the pins, it was trying to split that, and I think that's what caused a lot of these kind of double stitches and weird things. So it did catch. The Addy did not love this yarn. But like parts of it, like this part turned out pretty darn nice. And then other parts turned out kind of janky. But that's okay. I think this is a good size scarf. This one ended up being about 280 some rows. But I'm learning. So I think my Addy experience will only get better. Let's put this over here. Let's talk about crochet next. I started this just standard double crochet beanie, and it was a joy to work with. It's very nice. I did not have problems with it splitting here while I worked on the hat. I thought it feels very, very nice in my hands. I think this is going to make a very, very nice warm hat for somebody. I am here using the recommended 5mm crochet hook, and as you can see, it's just sliding through the yarn, working beautifully. One thing I will say, I ran through the entire cake on the Addy. I had 3 knots in that cake. As you can see, I'm not... Which row am I on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm on the 9th row. I tend to do 15-ish rows in my hats. So I'm a little over halfway done. I've already had a knot in this cake. This is the start of the cake was right here. I did a center pull and I've already had 1 knot. Now, according to manufacturer standards, 3 knots is the max that they tell you to expect. They weren't like egregious blown out knots. I know sometimes you get really wicked looking knots. They were pretty standard. But still, it did have the full 3 knots throughout 400 yards of yarn, which I don't love. I mean, maybe I just got a bum cake on that first one, and maybe this was just an unfortunate placement on the first... Oh, I didn't finish that stitch. On the first knot, but, you know, I think it is worth mentioning. We're going to slip stitch into the top of this double crochet, chain 1, and keep going. I was chaining 1, right? Yep. And so, yeah, as you can see, this is working up beautifully. It's smooth. It feels awesome on my hands. I'm very, very impressed with this. The stitch definition I think is good. The colors I think are beautiful. I do think, you know, like sometimes the dye can affect the yarn. There does seem to be a little feel difference on the distressed portions, and I don't know if that is the dye process. That's going to be my guess, that the dye process was a little different to get it to have that washed out distressed look, and that's just how it ended up. You know, I have not had a single issue in using this yarn, I didn't even catch both those loops there. Let's redo this one. The only issues I have had using this yarn during this demonstration has been user error. So it is perfectly good yarn. I think it's a very nice sized 4-weight. It's a good 4. In a couple of newer yarns, I've been questioning the size, but this is definitely a good 4. Let me pull up my yarn review checklist to make sure I'm talking about everything I need to do. This doesn't have any fuzz. It doesn't have a halo, or it's slight. It is the slightest halo. It is an average to be expected yarn halo. There is nothing extraordinary about it. I do not believe this yarn would have any problem with pilling or anything like that. Let's put this to the side. I think you've seen a good demonstration. I'm sorry, I'm drinking tea off to the side of the camera. If you hear a little slurpy, that's just me and my ginger tea. Set that to the side, and let's finish that stitch first, right? Let's do that. And do I have a stitch marker? Let's grab a stitch marker before I run off here and stitch marker. Ellie Leva's Craft Some More. Beautiful. I think that was from her summer fun set. I think. So I did also want to do a hand knit sample for you to show. I started this one from the outside of the cake, so things are going to get a little weird here now. Let me just grab some slack off the outside of the cake. I've already done four rows to get the swatch started. I think it's got great stitch definition. It's so pretty. Here I am using my not Chalgu, these are Clover. I'm holding it right here. Clover Takumi number 8 5mm knitting needles. It's a 24-inch circular. I just find that for these review purposes, my straight needles conflict with the table. So I'm going to try to use my circulars for these purposes. Okay, so what I'm doing here is just a stockinette stitch sample. So stockinette stitch is worked over. The first row is all knits, and then the second row is all purls. And as you can see, these, I'm having no problem with the manual hand knitting. I'm not having any issues with it splitting or anything like that. This is just a test swatch, so when we're done with this, I will frog the knit swatch so we can see its frogability score, and then we can talk overall score and feelings on this yarn. So, okay, here's another knot on the outside of the ball. As you can see, I'm just this far in. That's not a lot of yardage to get to another knot. So I'm just going to knit over it, not worry about it since this is a test. But that one is a pretty big one. That's a... Okay, if I were doing this for real world purposes, I would cut that out and redo it because it's a bit of a fuzzy looking one. We got that. We're going to flip it over. We're going to do the purl. So stockinette stitch in knitting, since we're just finishing my swatch here, looking for something to chat about, is where you have all of the knit stitches on one side of the fabric and all of the purl bumps on the other side of the fabric. And to call it stockinette, you want the knit stitches, the V's, to be on the right side of the work. And there's also reverse stockinette you can do, which is basically the same, but instead you want the purl bumps to be on the right side of your work. Reverse stockinette is very commonly used in cabling to help the cables pop off of, because you will do the cables in stockinette. Just a knitting primer, if you wish. And that is something I would like to start doing. I have plans, and I've kind of worked out a syllabus? I don't know. I've worked out some ideas as to what a knitting school series might look like on the channel. So hopefully I can get that going too. We'll see. And we're going to finish up this row of pearls. We have no problem here whatsoever. And look at how beautiful that stitch definition is. That is lovely. This is a great, I think this is a great all-purpose yarn. This is going to make good sweaters. This is definitely, with the washability, good for blankets and stuff like that. Good for hats, good for scarves. Of course, being acrylic, it's not going to be, oh, that knot caught us up. It's not going to be the greatest for like kitchen items or anything, because you don't want to melt it with pot holders or anything. So other than the knot, it frogged beautifully. Not an issue there. Let's try to wrangle this yarn while we talk. So what are my overall thoughts of this yarn? It is a very nice feel. Like I said, I think it's got a great versatility to it. It's got a lot of colors. They change out the colors seasonally, it looks like. So that's very exciting. So if you're not seeing a color you like now, you can certainly, I think, come back later and find a color that might more suit your fancy. I don't recall if in this one there was really any neutrals added. I'm going to try to pull up the Michaels website really quick to see here. Oh, can you see the camera? Or can you see the Shop Yarn, Caron Cake Shop. Cinnamon Swirl. So Heat Wave, those are old colors. The Oyster is an older color. Now in the newer colors, I'm going to say they are all pretty spring summery. If you're looking for a neutral color, they do have an older color of Marble, which is going to be kind of these more neutrals, grays. There's kind of a bit of a lilac in there, in my opinion. I have not seen that one in person, though. Don't go back. You need to go here. There is a Cookie and Cream Swirl, which is grays and whites. But these are older colors, so these aren't going to have the washed out section. The new ones are the ones... Wait, does that have... That is marked new. Never mind. I take that back. Cookies and Cream is a newer colorway with a washed out section. Okay, so they do have neutrals in the new colorways. Okay. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. So right now they have the usual 20% off regular priced purchases. It looks like at least the Caron cakes don't have any other additional or other discount on them. Day of filming right now is January 30th of 2024. I don't know when this is going to go up, but their deals are constantly changing on Michaels, so definitely just keep your eye out and watch, and you'll see a deal that you like. So what do I want to call this yarn? I get to claim this label because I finished that cake. I really like this yarn. I think it's a good yarn. I think it's a workhorse yarn. The number of knots in these cakes is a little disappointing to me. But again, not outside standard manufacturing allowances. So I'm not going to like write to Caron and be like, or Yarn Inspirations and be like, you need to owe me some yarn, because no, they don't. Value for your craft dollar. Full price $12.99 for this much yarn is not... I don't think that's a good price point. I think that's too expensive. They've raised their prices a number of times. I don't like it. But remember, you can always get it on sale. So I think it's probably a decent value for your craft dollar given current market prices on yarn and the versatility of this yarn. I definitely would try to get it in the sub $8 range. 20% off. I think that's $9-ish. Let me do some math really quick. Clear, $12.99. It says 10 on my calculator. I thought it was like $9.09. Let's just add one to the cart on Michael's and see what it says, right? Add to cart. View cart. Okay, yeah, no, my math was correct on the calculator. So one cake right now with the 20% off is $10.39. I would save for other, I would wait for other discounts or see if I could leverage my, if I could leverage rewards, coupons, and things like that to get a better deal. Like I said, I think sub $8.99 and lower would be my target for these, unless I needed it for a specific project. And then you're kind of playing the game of how much you're willing to pay. Okay, so I need to give this an overall rating and stop lollygagging about on it. Like I said, I really, really like the feel of the fabric. I like the stitch definition. I'm willing to say some of the Addy problems were user error and tension, except for the kind of splitty part. I don't understand that. I think that was the yarn. But like I said, that was the only place it wanted to split, was on the Addy. It did not want to split when I used it by hand knitting or when I was crocheting with it. I'm trying to decide how much I want to ding it because of the knots. Because the knots and the price are the only two things holding this back from being like a knock it out of the park, 100% awesome thing. You know, I'm not going to ding it too hard. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10 kitty paws on the rating. Like I said, I think it's a good workhorse yarn. It's soft. It's going to be great for a number of projects, a wide range of projects. Pretty much anything your heart desires, except, like I said, probably kitchen items. You would be able to make it. I mean, if you can dream it, you can do it. But the price, it's going to hold it back. $12.99 for 407 yards is steep for a normal acrylic yarn. Yes, it's softer than Super Saver, but Super Saver, depending on where you get it, can be like, I believe the smaller ones at my Walmart are in the 380s. And that's for, what, 5 ounces of yarn? And this is 8 ounces. So a little over half, and you're paying a third of the price. That's crazy. Unless my math is wrong. I do know the Super Saver, the big Super Savers at my Walmart are $7.48. So maybe that's a better comparison. So this Super Saver at my Walmart would be 7 ounces, would be $7.48. That is, it's almost comparable. It's 40 yards less. But feeling wise, I mean, well, this is a softer color. Yeah, it's soft. This one's softer than the Super Saver. But, you know, all the Super Savers kind of feel different based on the dye. As we talked about here, that maybe this section, it feels a little different because of the dye they used to get the heathered, distressed look on the yarn. Okay, I'm going to stop blabbering. Thank you so much. Let me know if you've tried this yarn, what your thoughts are on this yarn, and what you've made with this yarn. I would like to also share in this review, Deb Morgana sent me a picture of a shawl she made using this yarn, and it is gorgeous. She might have used the cookies and cream colorway. She might have. But it is beautiful. She did a wonderful job. And I mean, it's just another example of how the yarn can be used. It's suitable for a wide range of projects. And thank you so much, Deb, for sending that over and thinking of it. It was very, very awesome and kind of you. So I think that's everything. If Deb wants to chime in on the comments and let us know how many knots or anything she found in her yarns, I would think for the shawl she made, she probably had to use at least 2 cakes to get it. So that would be interesting to know. And I would love to know if you guys have used the yarn. Have you found a large number of knots in it or not? That's just pure curiosity on my point. Like I said, the 3 is annoying to me, but within the manufacturer's allowance, so not ideal, but I'll allow it, but it'll be in the back of my mind. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finally let you go because I keep saying I'm going to do it, and now I'm going to do it. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!